Greetings and welcome back to Module 8. This is the third and last component, Chapter 17, Analyzing and Reporting Qualitative Data. Given that we had some interruptions on my last video with the phone ringing, it was ironic that on the very first one I did, which was Chapter 15, my cell phone went off and I had to refilm that. Chapter 16, as you heard, the home telephone went off. And today I was wondering, well, if the dog is going to bark. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and create this preemptive interruption with something fun. I wanted to show you today as kind of a interruption and fun start. I wanted to show you my cat. This is my cat, Music. She's a great kitty. I want to hold her up for you. That's Music. She is part Maine Coon and I think part Tabby or something else along those lines. She's a great cat and has been is one of those types of cats that likes to sit on you and get some attention. So anyway, thank you for indulging me with that. So what we're looking at today is the main points or high points of Chapter 17. And what I would like to focus on is the process for qualitative analysis, and that is first collect the data, then to organize the data, then to interpret the data or analyze the data, and then last is to report your findings. So within this process, we have several steps, and the collection process, as I've talked to before, it can be observations, it can be interviews, it can be surveys. There's a number of different instruments that can be used. So, and if we're talking about the question of validity, this is one of the areas where we need to focus on in terms of collecting facts or collecting data. The next step is to organize it. Usually organizing it means coding it. So maybe you found a theme. Remember last time we talked about themes, and maybe you found a theme that you see as a pattern repeating within the observations or repeating within the commentary part on the surveys, open-ended questions of the surveys, and you found a particular theme. Well, you might code that as theme A. Then you might find another theme, and it might be a little more difficult to extrapolate or to take out, so you call that theme B. And then you find another theme that is perhaps very nuanced. Maybe you have to put it together a little bit more in terms of justify the link in terms of pattern. Call that theme C. So there we are, finding patterns and themes, coding them into different categories, and then our next step is to interpret them. And in doing so, we have several methods. One I mentioned to you last time, which was this method of having readers, independent readers, read the report, the observations, and the researchers' theories about patterns by connecting pieces together. And so if you have three independent readers and they have no idea who the other ones are or what the others' interpretations might be, and they all come back, or at least 2 out of the 3 come back with the same corroboration of finding themes and patterns, then you can be pretty sure that there's validity in the report. And that's the next step. That was one major technique. And again, we're going over the major outline of the process. And then next is this idea of reporting it. And reporting it is a fairly lengthy process as well, because when you're reporting it, you have to first and foremost, as we discussed, talk about validity and reliability. And that is much more difficult to ascertain in qualitative than it is in quantitative. In quantitative, we can use numbers to ascertain that validity. So in qualitative, there is a bottom line test, and that is the credibility test. And the credibility test really is when a reader interprets, or a reader reads the information that has been produced in the analysis, that is whether or not that is believable. And believable really is the bottom line. So some outrageous claims or some things that might raise suspicions for corroboration then are less believable. And so when you think about correlation, you have a high degree of a relationship, a medium degree of a relationship, or a low degree of relationship. And here what we're looking at is strongly believable, moderately believable, or unbelievable. So that is one of the tests that we look at, one of the major tests. And what I find extremely interesting on this is that truth is different than, it sometimes is is different for people to interpret. And so sometimes the most unbelievable events are true. Some of the most events that are the most difficult to think are credible have been observed, and they are in fact true. So then what we're concerned with then is trying to verify and the facts that are the observations that are being given. If it's a historical event or a current event, maybe there was a reporter, a secondary observation that goes along with your primary observation that corroborates the primary observation you've made or you've collected. Maybe there are witnesses, someone else who was there during the interview, an observer, someone along those lines that can help you validate that evidence or that report to make it credible, make it believable. So that's the major pieces that are in this chapter. What I'd like you to do is read more in depth, but on how these processes are implemented and how each process or each step of the qualitative analysis is produced. So this is the overarching points for chapter 17, and I hope you liked meeting my cat music. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.